Who wants to overcome an objection? How about if you, like the veterinaries do, they inoculate against things that they know are coming? Thank you. All right, we might have more people showing up yet too. It varies. So fantastic. Well, I'm Jade Handy. I recognize you from Meetup RSVPs. You've been trying to get in to one of these for a while now. So congratulations. Got to
Uh,
make time to sharpen the sword. Okay, well, you came to the right place. How long you been in sales? Congratulations, my favorite kind. Anytime somebody's trying to replace something with something for themselves in sales, yeah, you barked up the right tree. I've done that more times in my life than I can count. Actually, I used to not be able to count. I actually just recently counted. In my career, I've sold for myself or somebody else 30 different things over 30 years. And that's why my LinkedIn says starting over coach. I've been where you're at more times. And, and it's where I'm most comfortable. Interestingly, I've done it so many times, like, boom, let's go, let's do this. So, uh, how long you been in sales? Okay, fantastic. Congratulations. Um, so I assume by you guys saying that you've been in sales for a year and a half, that you've never done sales before. Okay, all right. Okay, fantastic. So what I like to do first, I've done lots and lots of these type of meetings over many years. I used to do them in person for 3.5 years. I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you my 2-minute presentation when I do networking stuff like that to bring you two up to speed with me
Great.
because, like I said, I don't reckon neither of you have been here before. So, um, I help people do one of two things: either find their first sale or their next client. For people like me, that we know what that means. It's either you're just getting started or you're growing your business. And so for business professionals like ourselves, whose primary responsibility it is to create and keep customers, my business path transformation system is the one um, multidiscipline coaching plan plus business plan that helps you find your voice, find your customers, and find your strategy. Oftentimes, including helping you match your marketing and sales to your personality, your work style, your product, of course, with your customers' preferences in existing marketplaces or new if you're growing and expanding. So, unlike single discipline coaching, that doesn't address your overall business model needs or upgrading your skills or mastering your psychology, I play in 5 different areas. Now, by single discipline, I mean, I just was in a market networking call. There was an integrity coach. Fantastic. Everybody needs that. It's single discipline. A marketing coach is usually a marketing consultant, which usually means you're selling something, advertising. That's great. It's needed. Um, Accounting coaches are usually financial coaches. They're usually accountants that do that. Everybody needs all these single disciplines, but they hardly ever address the broader scope of what you're trying to achieve, which is build out your business model for yourself. Whether you sell for a company or you sell for your own business, probably you're trying to find out more than just sales, maybe a strategy, maybe a marketing plan for yourself or your book of business. Um, so I don't know where you guys lie in that spectrum of doing it yourself, doing it for others, or doing exclusively for a business that supports you 100%. But back to my pitch again, I work in 5 areas. One is helping you get clear and focused on your goals and direction. Every coach is going to do that. Yeah, I don't never hire a coach that doesn't do that. I don't know where they how they know how to begin. The other thing is strategizing your actions so that you know always know what to do week in and week out, day in and day out to achieve your goals. Helping you upgrade your skills. We all know strong skills speeds up the process, helps you achieve your plan with confidence and certainty. Well, the next area is optimizing your environment in terms of workplace, if you're in a job, or workspace, if you're at home doing your thing, tools, technology, people that you surround yourself and doing business with. And then the fifth area is mastering your psychology, helping you overcome fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, or insecurities that might be holding you back. So if one of those five areas is where your challenge is, you're in luck. I've done these things over many years. I started off in 2005 doing mental game coaching for athletes as well, to help them get ready for competition. It could have been a volleyball team, golfer, mixed martial artists, UFC fighters, helping them get mentally tough for matches, as well as recover from losses and injury, which is very similar to recovering from a lost sale, by the way. And then also at the same time working with peak performance coaching and sales coaching for salespeople since 2005. In 2010, I started an internet marketing business and website business. And then in 2014, I joined a business incubator, quickly became the program manager, and have since helped hundreds of entrepreneurs, small business people, business professionals, and salespeople build out their personal business models for greater sales. So, do any of you have specific questions you definitely want me to address today? Things that are top of mind, that are pressing issues that, man, if I could just get that one thing answered today, and I think it could be answered today, what would be that thing that I could help you achieve today? Okay, great. Thing that's pressing that could be answered, could move you forward tenfold today. Okay, is it finding the words, do you think? Obviously, there's some fear there, some anxiety related to it, obviously. But is it finding the right words? Kind of like Cindy, where she needs to find that right approach. She needs to get the verbiage right. Am I right? Yeah. Because finding, here's what I found is that finding, there's no doubt part of the psychology, you overcome that psychology, boom, you just go in there and you get after it. And we're going to work on that too. What I found a lot of times it's finding the right verbiage so that it's more comfortable to approach the issue and more comfortable leading them through that. Sometimes, a lot of times that has to do with framing the conversation, what I call pre-framing the conversation. And Sydney, you'll appreciate this too, because it's all about how do you set the conversation up for inoculation. Inoculation is a concept. Who's heard of overcoming objections? Anybody heard of overcoming objections? You've never heard of the concept of overcoming objections? Okay. So, but who wants to do that? Who wants to overcome an objection? How about if you, like the veterinaries do, they inoculate against things that they know are coming. Okay, so the first concept is going to be inoculating against objections. And when I told you I started a website business, internet marketing business, my goal in that business, because I had come from lots of sales, years of sales, where I used to do sales where I was in the closing part of the conversation at their dinner table for 4 to 5 hours closing deals. That means overcoming objections for 4 to 5 hours. That's a stark difference from not getting the objection to begin with. In my website business, I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've done enough of it. I know what that's about. Here's what I strove for in every conversation was, how do I get them to close the deal for me? How do I overcome all the objections beforehand? And I mean all of them, so that when it comes to the appropriate time, what they say to me is, how do I get started? How does this work? Do you take checks? How do I pay you? And I kid you not, I got that question 90 to 95% of my deals in my website business were closed that way, of the customer asking me, how did I do that? I set it up from the get-go and overcame every objection before it ever even came up, called inoculation. You won't hear a lot about this on the internet. You're not going to be able to buy a book, I don't think, on inoculating against objections. So let's start. So how would you go about doing that? Well, the first thing is that you have to know what to anticipate. Okay, so here's the thing with objection. Here's the thing with the bringing up these types of things. If you know for a fact it's going to come up, if it comes up every conversation and you know for a fact it's going to come up, then you bring it up yourself and overcome it beforehand. You inoculate against it. However, if it doesn't come up every conversation, if it's just kind of unique and individual to the person you're selling to, don't bring it up. They'll bring it up if it's important to them. If you bring it up and it doesn't come up in 90% to 100% of the conversations, it's you creating that, okay? And because if it's important to them and you've got excited about everything else that they can achieve and do with your product or service, they will bring it up because they'll need to overcome it in their own mind in order to move forward with you, okay? So what are some things that, what is some objections that you're concerned about if you approach? Okay. What is so it's new. It's new to them and it disrupts their workflows, what you told me. Okay,
Yep.
so do they say anything specific? I don't like that it will do this, or I'm worried about this. What are they state that they're worried about or concerned with, or fear or doubt, maybe? This needs to be fixed or
Yeah.
enhanced, not
Yeah.
broken, just need to be enhanced.
Seeing resistance.
Okay,
and-
so let me ask you both this. How did you hear about this call today? Okay. How about you? You're like, where did you find this guy? What, what did you? Okay, fantastic. So this is plays into this theme. Okay, nothing here. Everything I say is going to be methodical and it's going to be relevant to what we're talking about. So how you guys found out about this, you made it whatever that was, Meetup recommending it or your boss recommending it, that was a pre-frame. Okay, they recommended that. It's no different than a referral, just like you're trying to do, Steve. But we all understand what a referral is. Somebody walks you into something, somebody refers you in, somebody recommends you, whatever it is. That's a pre-frame. So pre-framing isn't a foreign thing. It happens all the time naturally. Okay, how can we make it happen? How do we do that? So what you don't have to be worried about is me asking you to do something that you would never be comfortable doing. Okay. That's a pre-frame. Okay. So the anticipation, you're waiting for me to say something, and I pre-framed it by saying, what you don't have to worry about is me asking you to do something that you'd never be comfortable with. That is an example of a pre-frame. So what you'll notice, I'm very methodical. I'm going to be using a lot of the things I'm asking you to do to load that up. And you should be doing that also. Okay, so said that they say things like well, it's not broken. It just needs what'd you say? It's not broken. It could be better. It's not broken. It could be better. So if you know they say that often, I would pre-frame that with, I know you don't think your system is broken, and it's probably not. You would just like it to be enhanced. Okay, so whatever they say, now she hears this often, a new situation for you. But so what you're going to do is imagine what the response is going to be and pre-frame it. Okay, so you're going to use their exact words ahead of time before they say it. I know you think your system isn't broken, and obviously it doesn't. You have a successful business here. It just needs to be, and you may be more inclined to just improve on what you're doing. Okay, so that's also a softener. You may be inclined to think it just needs to be enhanced. I'm installing a little bit of uncertainty or a little bit of probability as well. So again, I'm pre-framing that conversation by using their words beforehand and then reframing it. So I pre-frame it by using their words, and then I reframe it with how I'd like them to think about it with just a little bit of doubt. Okay, so you might have thought going into this conversation that you were going to get all the answers, and you might be right, and you might have found, and you might find that you're going to need to do something a little bit different than you've been wanting to. Well, you can inoculate against your fear, though. You can say, let's say your customer's name is Javier. Javier, as you know, our relationship is more important than anything else. It's important to you. It's important to me. So what I'm about to say is going to be just something to consider. Okay, so you're pre-framing the fear that you have. Now, notice that I didn't say a negative. I didn't say, now, Javier, our friendship is worth more than anything, so I don't want this to affect that. I'm not putting that in their mind. That's an objection that I'm not putting in their mind because that doesn't come up every single sale. See what I'm saying? So everything you say it needs to be methodical. You're not going to be perfect when you first start doing this. Part of your challenge, Steve, that I suspect is that you don't do this all the time and you haven't done a lot of it. Am I correct in that? Okay. What would you say? You're a veteran in this. You've been doing this for a year and a half. Are you pretty comfortable getting yourself into situations? Okay. All right. So here's the thing is part of the fear of doing these types of things is that you only have one shot. Okay. And when you only have one chance, you're going to be fearful. If I'm starving and I'm in the forest and I haven't seen a deer for months, and then I see a deer, I'm going to be pretty fear struck about missing my chance to have the one piece of food I haven't had, right? I'm also going to be excited for the opportunity, but I'm going to be fearful. So that contrast that to having this is just one of 100 opportunities on your plate. You're like, yeah, not only am I not worried about getting this deal, but I'm not worried about upsetting my friend because I know I'm not going to be trying that hard to where I would push harder than I need to, right? Your comfort level is going to be a lot more natural. It's going to be baked into the situation because you have other opportunities. So let me ask Steve, how urgent is it that you have this conversation in the near future or the next conversation instead of after 10, 25 conversations that are similar? Okay, well, first of all, I would consider that as an option because if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, then it's going to be a little bit stressful when you're new. Although doing some of the things we're going to do today and working on today already is going to help alleviate that. You're going to notice that, oh yeah, I could do that, or that doesn't sound so bad, or yeah, that feels comfortable enough that I can do. Okay. So what am I doing here? I'm pre-framing how he's going to be thinking about the conversation. Okay, I'm doing what I'm asking you to do. What I'm suggesting that you do is that you play that out beforehand, that you set expectations up beforehand, and then you change the effect of that in their mind before it happens as well. So, um, what is something else that they might say to you, that they have said to you? Because you have the benefit of actually hearing these things, right?
Mhm.
Hearing the objections. Okay. All right. I call that throwing you a bone. It's, call me next week, call me next month. I don't want to say no because I don't feel comfortable telling you no. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't, who knows? The fact is it's not helping you in the situation
Yeah.
if they're saying that. Okay. Here, let me give you, here's a standard template for responses to any objection. Okay. I'm going to give you a couple, but here's a standard way to overcome something other than just inoculating because we're going to learn that too. You're going to be doing that too. But one thing is the feel, felt, found. Have either of you ever heard of the feel, felt, found method? Okay. It goes like this. I know how you feel about instilling a new workflow into your business. Lots of my customers felt the same way. What they found was when they find just the right entry point for is it a product or service? It's a product. Okay. So what they found is that when they find the right way to bring my product into the process, that it works a lot easier. Okay, feel, felt, found. Steve, I know how you feel. You're new to this game. You don't even know if you're doing the right things and saying the right things at the right moment. A lot of people have felt the same way. I felt the same way many times, especially early in my career. I've done this a lot of different times. What I found is that when I create lots of opportunities for myself, I'm less stressed about a single opportunity. Okay. The feel, felt, found is um, a lot of people are unfamiliar with the internet and communicating on Zoom. Um, a lot of people feel the same way you do. They don't know how this is going to work. They don't even know if this is an effective way to communicate. But they felt the same way. What they found was once they jump in and just do it, that they figure out how to roll with it after that. It just becomes natural. All the natural principles of communication fall into play. You see how that works? Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. What I found was, I know how you feel. A lot of other people felt the same way. What they found was, then you can expand on that. I know how you feel. You have a process that you're used to. A lot of people felt the same way. They had a process. My customers, by the way, when you say customers, that presupposes that other people have experienced what you're feeling. So there's another principle in selling called social proof. So Steve, you brought it up earlier. You said, do you have testimonials? Right? You said, do you have success with this? Do you know? Okay. So that is a great way to have social proof, but another way to have social proof is to slide it in through presuppositions. A lot of my customers felt the same way. It presupposes that you've done this before. It presupposes that they can get through it too, because whatever one person can do, other people can do too. And what they found was, boom, that's how you reframe that the next step for them. So does anybody want to role play that in their situation, work through the process they'd applied in their situation? Got about 10 minutes here. If you don't, that's fine. We can move on. Some people like to role play things and get comfortable with it. So Steve, so far, what has been the most useful for you that you can see yourself doing? Okay. How about you? What is something that you found the most useful that you can see yourself using? Okay, fantastic. So again, what did I do there? I pre-framed that. I didn't just say, what did you find the most useful? I want to frame the answer in terms of that you can see yourself using. Now, what do you have to do? You have to go into the future, imagine yourself using it, and then come back to the present and iterate what that was. Okay, so I'm using language to help build expectations in their mind and to reframe it in the future after I've already pre-framed it in the past. So let's why don't you imagine this? Okay, so we talked about a little bit about the psychology and the fear. Steve, what will it have been like to have done it already once you have already done it? So the next time you are doing it, it's so much easier, isn't it? It'll feel great. Okay, great. So you followed that train of thought, right? How about for you? In terms of using the feel, felt, found, what will it have been like to have done it already once you have already done it? So the next time you are doing it, it's so much easier, isn't it? Yeah. So again, I'm using my language to role play a future scenario, how I want them to think, how I want you to think about this before you have a chance to think differently about it. Because if I frame it before you think about it, then it's being affected by my thoughts. What questions do you have so far? Gosh darn it. I thought I was just going to sit and listen. You
Yes.
can. Steve, that brings up a great point. Here's the thing is I'm a technician. I've spent my whole adult life, okay, ever since I was 19 years old, studying, using, improving, and teaching language and all the subtle ins and outs of it. 30 years of doing it in every job, every business, every interaction, work, personal. Okay. So I can't expect you to think that you're going to, I mean, it's like my grandpa said, I've forgotten more things than you'll ever learn. Right. Um, Alternative to learning subtleties like this is doing it the hard way, is spending the next year, 5 years just bumbling through things and just saying, hey, would you like to buy this? Hey, would you call in? Hey, read a book, watch a video, try that. This will save you years until you stumble into this principle that the top salespeople use naturally. Most people don't do this technique learning it from me. Okay. I didn't invent these techniques. I modeled them from the hundreds of highly effective salespeople that I've worked alongside over the years. Um, these two little tweaks, pre-framing and reframing, will fit into any context. It doesn't matter if you're talking to a prospect, talking to your friends and family, or we're at the store. It doesn't matter where. If you learn these techniques of the feel, felt, found, and the pre-frame and reframe, those two techniques alone, if you master those, here's what I would do: practice them in your personal relationships first before you just throw them out in a customer conversation. Right? The next person you talk to, whatever they say that sounds like they're challenged by something, say, Gloria, I know how you feel. You know what? John, my friend, felt the same way last week. He was, dating this person and blah, 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 blah. And what he found was, looking back on it, didn't really matter. Now, how comforting would that be to say that to a friend or family member about a challenge that they were facing? It's very natural, right? It's very comforting. They would, you know what they'd say? They'd look at you and say, wow, thank you. This is natural conversation. And a lot of people, they think they have to talk differently in sales situations than they do with their friends and family. But the fact is that you do the same things when you're really being effective with people. You connect with them on a deep level, you understand their situation, and you talk in terms of that uncomfort and that discomfort that they have. And you just bring it to the forefront instead of just avoiding it. How good a friend are you if you avoid the elephant in the room? Right? If there's something why is nobody addressing this? This is what's going on. That's what's uncomfortable. That is awkward. And that breeds anxiety. Why is nobody talking about this? I'm not going to bring it up. If he doesn't bring it up, I'm not going to bring it up, right? So it's the most natural thing in the world to just bring it up. Recognize, see, you two are, the first thing you did good was you recognized what the objection is. You know what you're challenged with, right? So let's talk about some other things real quick. I like to pack everything I can into these conversations. Yes, please. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. In every step of the sales process. Here's the thing is, by connecting with the reality of the situation, you connect with them. It's called pacing. Okay. Everything I say, I'm going to have a label for, and that you can research. But yeah, you want to pace their emotions. You want to pace their reality. You want to pace their circumstances so they go, oh yeah, this person knows exactly what yeah, I am busy right now. What do you have for me? Right.
Yeah.
that's what they're thinking. They're like, they're sorting through. So um, the feel, felt, found, I know how you feel. You don't have to say that. You can demonstrate that with your words. Okay. So Steve, you were a little bit hesitant to be on this call today because you had other things going on, right? Did you see his head shake before he said yes? Why? Because I understood the situation and I said it, okay? Thinking, man, my boss wants me to be on this thing. I don't know if I want to. I guess I will because he told me to, right? See her head shaking before she doesn't even need to say yes, and I don't need to say, I know how you feel. Your boss told you to be on this call. You didn't. I don't have to say the words feel, felt, found. I just have to demonstrate them, right? These are things you do with your friends, you do with your family when you want to connect with them and to be there for them, right? Sales isn't about being salesy and being slick and I'm going to sell. No, it's about connecting with them. It's about understanding what emotion they're going through at every step of the way and connecting with them where they are. Okay. Your friend, you can be like, Javier, I know this call is going to be awkward for both of us, but I just really feel like um, you would want to at least know about this, right? It's not, I just feel like I really want to say this to you. I just feel like you would really want to know about this. That's a much different approach, right? You're anticipating their feelings. You're anticipating their emotions. You don't have to anticipate what they're going to say because now you have a framework for how to overcome that, right? You just have to anticipate their emotions. So, all right, they're probably going to kick us off this thing any minute. Any last thoughts? I do this every Wednesday. Reach out to me in messaging if you have specific questions. I'm more than happy to help you.